Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And in today's video you get to see my face. Okay, not really, you only see my face for a few minutes while I explain to you what I'm going to be doing in this video. As you can tell by the title of the video, it's going to be not necessarily a step-by-step tutorial, but it's going to show you how I make my paper flower heads. And those of you who purchase paper flowers from me with the heads too, you would see exactly like how your paper flower heads are made. And first of all, this is a paper flower head. This is how it comes, so it can attach to the stems very easily instead of having to use the base to attach to the stem, to attach your flowers. Now, one thing I do want to point out, this video, one of the viewers on my last video about how I make my paper flower stems, they asked for a video like this, so that's why I'm doing it. And I just want to give you an update on those stems. This is one of the stems I made that day. I'm not sure if it's the exact one. No, it's not the exact one, but it's one of them that I made that day. And you can see it has like spots where it kind of ripped and stuff, and you can just go back in and cover that. I think that video is like the beginning of this year. I'm not too sure exactly when I did that, but look, it's already covered and fixed. And that's much better than, hold on. Fixing it is much better than fixing the ones that I make like this, because if it does get like a scratch, like that's by no means ugly or damaging. You really don't see it much. It won't take away from your flowers or anything, but you really can't fix that. So that is a good thing about using the floral tape method. And even if you use the crepe paper, that method is good too. So so my stems usually come, when you buy them, they won't be made with this material, but they usually come with like a flower head on it. And in order for the flower head to not be so easily removable, I take glue and place it in there and place it in, and it's pretty hard to get it out. I've had to actually just cut off the tops if I ever wanted to use it again, because it's, once you get that hot glue in there, it's pretty much stuck, and that makes it like a whole one-piece item, which is what I sell it as. But if you're viewing this video and you're wanting to buy stems from me, you can tell me you don't want the base in like the comments section on Etsy. You can let me know that you don't want one with a base because you're going to be using your own paper flower heads. On to the rest of the video. I'm going to be using my own template that I have for my paper flowers, and I'm going to be using this contraption. It comes like this. This green part is so disgusting. Ugh. But I usually just discard that in the top of it. And actually, I'm gonna go around and cut all of that off, and I'm gonna put like a cardboard. I'll put like this. It's been used and abused, but it's not gonna be seen inside of there. And I'm just gonna cut a circle that will fit around the top of that. And I'm also going to be cutting it to about here because I don't want these ridges to show up when I place, let me show you. When I place this part, I don't really want those to be showing up. So usually I cut it about here, but then that kind of makes it small. So I may cut it like halfway and then cover that with like cardstock paper so it can be smooth, and then I can place my little heat shrink on it. Also, some other beforehand things that I can mention before moving on is that I do have my own little leaves that go on the back of them. So far, with every paper flower stem or flower purchase, I have given these out as like a freebie so far of my sales, and they just go around the base like that, and then you glue it. You attach it here with hot glue or double-sided tape, and then you can like glue it up to your place. So far I have been able to give that to everyone for free. And also to mention beforehand, I'm using about 32 sheets of cardstock. In the end, this paper flower should measure around 18. I should probably move that number up to 20 inches, but it's from 18 to like 24 inches. I've had one before that was like 18 inches, but I think it can go up to 24 inches. And it's 32 sheets. This part is about 12 sheets. This is like the second part, and it's like 8 sheets. And then this last part, I usually start at 8 sheets of paper, but I just counted the last ones that I did, and they were about 12 sheets of paper. So I'm going to use 12 of that one to even begin with. And let's get started. Okay, so to get started, I'm going to first work on my little floral stem. I don't even know what this is technically called. Hopefully I will get the exact name of it and the one that I got and put it in the description. But it's for like, I think it's for actual real flowers because it has that little green stuff. I don't even know what that's called. But I'm going to first start with this, and I just like to cut it off. I'm going to try to make this as real time as possible. So I just cut that off, and I'm going to clean it up a little bit. And I also want to just go over the supplies real quick. So I'm going to be using scissors. I'm using scissors not only for this part, but also when I cut it out. I have a pen because I can just demonstrate right now. I have a pen because I'm going to be using this. This is just my floral tape, and it's about the same size. So I'm just going to go over it. I'm going to go over it on the outer edge, and then I can like make it smaller. But just to give me a circle base. And don't need that. I'm also going to be using my pipe cutter, and I'm using this. This was like a selfie stick thing that I don't use anymore, but this part I do use for my paper flowers. You can also, to curl the edges, you can also use something like screwdriver, anything. You can use a Sharpie, anything like pretty thick like that in the width. Okay, so to finish this up, just gonna cut this out. This part isn't gonna be seen, so that's why I'm using like an old and used chipboard paper. Make it as brown as possible, and I'm just gonna glue it there. So I think I may start. I need to get also glue sticks and a hot glue gun as part of your supplies. Obviously paper and your template, and you don't have to use my template for this to work. You can use any template for this to work, because my template isn't even, as you will see in a short while, my template isn't like specifically designed for this. I just made it work. So I'm just gonna roughly go over the edges. Then, hope you can see. This is me being a little extra, but I'm just putting it over like that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and use my pipe cutter. This pipe cutter doesn't get like this plastic really good. It doesn't cut it really good, but we're gonna make something happen. I think I'm gonna cut it about right here. Make it a little longer. Let me see. Yeah, just a little bit of the ridge is right here. So I'm gonna show you. I have to like twist it. You may want to do this before you put this on. Yeah, looking at it, there's a lot of twisting going on. You have to like twist it as you're cutting it. So I'm just gonna go like that. Yeah. And if you need to clean it up, I don't think it really needs much. You can just use the scissors. And then now I'm gonna leave this alone so that this hot glue can cool down. And you won't be needing the pipe cutter anymore. And that also could have been done with just scissors, but I do have a pipe cutter. And if you're coming from my other video about the stem, because this is specifically for stems, you may want to invest in a pipe cutter. So this is my template, and I'm going to be cutting 12 of this, 8 of this one, so it should be like this. So it goes, this is first, second, and that's third. So 12, 8, and then we're going to start with 8, but probably end up using 12 or more. And we'll see. So I'm going to try to do this cutting real time. I don't trace my stuff and cut it. And yeah, I just don't trace it. I just hold it up like this. Sometimes I'll get like a little clip and hold it in place, but I don't have one right now. So I just use my hands. I don't know if you're getting this. Just my hands, hold it in place, and then just go all the way around. This part is pretty tedious, but I'm gonna show it to you so you can see just how easy it is. These flowers, the bigger flowers, I tend to cut them by hand. I hate cutting them by hand, but I do it because it's so much easier. But I just love when it's cut in the Cricut, or a machine does it for me, because it just comes out so nicely and smooth and without any fault. So I'm cutting about 4 at a time. If you notice that your cuts aren't as good with 4 at a time, definitely go down. I'm just holding it in place. My cuts are by no means perfect. This is going to be definitely for just me. If I was doing this for a client, I probably would be doing 3 at a time, honestly, because I don't like how some of my cuts are coming out. came out okay. If you're a person that likes to save all your paper and stuff, you can cut off like these edges and use it for something. Like, I'm just gonna throw this away. Because I have noticed that when I do try to save them, I end up never using them. Even when I have projects that can use them, I just never have them handy enough, and I always forget about it. So I'm just gonna throw it away and have less clutter. And if it's easier for you, you can do the method of tracing it and then cutting. Obviously, you wouldn't have to trace each and every individual paper because that would just be too much. You can trace the top. You can just trace the top of the paper and then take your 4 sheets or 3 sheets and then start cutting along that. This one is like a hard copy. I'm surprised I didn't do it with the other 2, but I think I revised this, so that's why they don't have hard copies. The hard copy makes it a little bit better because it's not, you can't really cut into it and damage it. So it's good to have a hard copy of your templates, especially if you're cutting all your templates by hand. And as I mentioned, this is the only one that I cut by hand. Even when I have like a large order of my other paper flowers, I would not cut them by hand. I just don't like the way I cut. This one uses 32 sheets of paper. And I'm only realizing that it uses 32 sheets of paper because I'm doing this tutorial. See, that just came out so bad, but that's towards the end and it's not. And I think I'm going to end up cutting that anyway, so that's towards the end. This part is what matters. Cutting part is so tedious, and I hope it doesn't make the video too long. I want this video to be real time, just like my paper flower stem one was. The only hard part about it being real time is you have to come up with things to say. If not, it's just a bunch of dead silence in the video. And I don't really want to add music or anything to this video. Okay. Cutting it by hand is not that bad. Okay, now this one is going to be a little bit more difficult because this paper, they're the same. They're the same color. And because this is the last part of the flower, and it's the part that kind of sticks out a little bit more, I think I'm going to use 3 sheets at a time. So I don't really mess up on the cutting. coming in the video. I should probably check. Oh, there we have it. And like I said, you can use a clip to hold it in place. And sometimes I would make the cut like that and then go over here to kind of hold it in place. And then I hold it down, grab the corner right here. Doing one of these flowers isn't so bad, but then when you have like an order for a dozen, then it can get very tedious, and that's where a lot of labor and sweat and tears and anguish can come into play. So while this looks pretty easy, imagine doing this 12 times over. It's not the best. So if you have a paper flower artist that you love and you admire their work, just know that a lot went into it, especially those paper flower walls that people do, those backdrops. It's a lot to cut. And if they're perfectionists and they're using a machine, that's a lot to cut. Honestly, if I got an order for a paper flower head right now, I don't think I will cut it by hand. I pretty much will use my machine because I found a good way of layering the paper on there where I can get multiple cut at one pass through. I can have multiple at once. I definitely do that with the smaller ones. The smaller ones I can get it done in like 3 passes with the 12 by 24 mats. I've got that down to just 3 passes, and I think it uses like half of the paper of this, but I got it to where I just have to go through 3 passes, and that makes it like better than to strain my hands and also to get like that perfect cut. Like I said, if I got an order for one of these flowers, if I got an order for a dozen, I probably still would just use the machine. I honestly hate cutting it by hand, and I'm only cutting it by hand for this video. But when I make orders, I like it to be perfect. So I use the machine. Finally, we're done. Okay. So, in retrospect, I probably would have made this a little bit longer. So I think I'm gonna need it a little bit longer. Another thing that I'm gonna do for this video, I'm just gonna use this to cover it. because like I said, it's not for anyone, and I don't want to add any extra supplies to your list. So I'm just going to use this, and I'm going to cover it beforehand. Because I do use my heat shrink paper. I don't know exactly what it's called, but I use my heat shrink paper, that little green part that you see on like these ones, the ones that I sell. I use that, and when I'm giving it to a client, when I'm giving it to someone to a buyer. But for my house, I'm just gonna use this one, and then I can cover it later on with the heat shrink, because I think pretty much all of my mock stems here have heat shrink on them. So that's and simple. Just cover that. This part should be covered by this. Yeah, it should be covered by this, but even if it's not, in the end, you can always stick some more. And this can stay this brown color. It doesn't need to be colored green or anything. So let's get started. Like I said, you can use any stem, any template. Most templates start out the same. Just gonna take 2 of the first. And then just put them together. And I'm gonna put them together that way. And I think, let's save like the last few. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm gonna do about 8 of these first, and then the last 8 we're gonna incorporate that part. And if you see me using a lot of hot glue, don't beat me over the head about it, because I'm working on it. I feel like I use way too much. So I'm going to take it like this, bring it up, and then just, while it's like this, just put some glue right there, put my finger under, and hold it in place. And then I'm going to do the same for the other side. And then hold it in place. And voila. And I kind of cup it in my hand like this. You can hold it like that. I usually like to go, if this one is over, it now becomes under. Like, that's just what I do. There's no right or wrong way. Pretty much do the same thing. Just like pull it back. Oops. And there. It's kind of like my base. And then I'm going to make that same. I'm just going to use 2 at a time now. And then I like to place it like this. So you see the sides like that. So it covers it. So I do that like alternate. Put some glue down. Try to make sure they're the same. Kind of not. So I'm going to do this side first. I cupped it already. Strings. I'm going to cup it again. Just add some glue along the sides. Now I don't sell templates because for paper roses, because I feel like it doesn't come out. It's not surefire to come out exactly the same every time, so I don't sell them. I feel like my stuff doesn't come out the same every time, and I feel like only I know how to work around it, and it'll be too much for like a beginner to use. But I do sell other flower stems. I mean paper flower templates. And I do have videos here on YouTube where you can see how I make those templates, and you can purchase them on Etsy. So I'm kind of just gonna cup it. And then I go inside sometimes. Well, like on this one, it was easy to go inside to help it stick down. And I like to just remove the strings as I go, but you can do that like that towards the end. So I'm just gonna cup it. This one can go inside. Okay, so before I start using that, I'm just gonna go ahead and get my other ones together. There's only 2 sets left. Actually, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this whole first part first, like this, and then I'll start incorporating that part. See, I told you I don't have an exact way of, like it has to be this way, it has to be that way. No, it doesn't have to be for the way that I did it. So I'm just gonna add some on the corners right there. I'm going in. One more on my base. And the hot glue sticks that I love to use is the Gorilla. have it. So now I'm going to turn it on its side. I don't just turn it like this. Oh, it stays. And I'm just gonna add a whole bunch of glue. Like a whole bunch of glue. Hold on. I need another glue stick. Just a good amount of glue. I'm gonna try to get it in the middle as possible. If you need help, you can always stick something in there, but it's not necessary because it's going. And there you have it, your flower head. No. Okay, so now I'm gonna put this over here. And this is probably a step that I should have did beforehand. But it's not necessary to do. I'm gonna curl my flowers. So there's one that has this little part on it. I'm just gonna turn that on the back. So that's why you see me looking at it. Well, you can't see me looking at it, but pause a little bit because it does have a little something on it. So I'm gonna use this. Like I said, this was a selfie stick that that I don't use anymore. So I don't even think I've ever used it, but it's a selfie stick, and I'm just gonna hold it in place for a little bit. What else? I can also use this. So I'm gonna use a Sharpie on this turn. You can also use the glue sticks, but I still find it better to start with something bigger. And if I want it to be more like defined, I'll use the glue sticks. Or another way to do that, if you don't have something bigger and all you have is glue sticks, can you break this in half? You can start like, hold them together and pre-roll them a little bit like that with your fingers, and then take the glue stick. Sometimes it can, like with heavier paper, this one isn't too heavy, this is like medium cardstock paper, but with heavy cardstock paper and like really heavy cardstock paper, you get like little lines if you don't do it right. But this one, it doesn't have that effect because it's only like medium cardstock. So you can use just a glue stick. Just gonna do this to all of them beforehand so we don't have to stop and do that. Okay, so this is where it gets a bit tricky. So I see where I want it to be like that. So I'm using this one. So I place it up here and I see where I want it to be. And I think that's a good size. And then I go and look at the bottom and I realize that, okay, I have to cut like at least right here. So what I'm gonna do is I can cut like a U shape, or I can just do like a triangle. I think I'm gonna do like a U shape. So I'm gonna go like this. And this is what makes it not specified to this, because I don't have that already cut out. So I'm doing it as I go. And I think that works. So just so you can see how it is on the back side. So I think that works. So I'm gonna do it to about 3 of them. So I can get the first 4. And if I have to adjust the cutting, I can do that. And they don't have to be perfect because pretty much don't see them in the end. Okay, so I'm going to start on this side. That looks like this. And I'm just going to take some of this and place it all over. I feel like I'm using way too much. And this is how it looks. I'm going to try to get it like on that white base. Sorry, I messed up a little bit. Try to get it on that white base like that. So I can start to cover it a bit. And then I'm going to do that with this one. Better like this. Okay. And I think from now on, you can see already where we're going with this. I'm not sure if this is getting on. I'm gonna read. Okay, so I had to switch gears or views and bring the party to the floor because this is gonna get really big and it can't fit on my desk. So this is where we are, and I like at this step to like pinch it up to know where I'm going to be placing it, to know where this meets contact. So I usually do that beforehand, and it kind of leaves, in my template, it leaves like this little mark. You can't really see it, but I can see it here. It leaves this little indentation. Then I'm going to go ahead and hot glue. My hot glue is rewarming up because I had to take it off for a little bit. I have to go up a little bit more. My hot glue isn't as hot right now, but the show is going on. There. Now we have it. So I'm going to do the same to the other side. It kind of meets contact over here. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Just going to pinch it up. And then I'm going to do the same in the back side to this. I'm trying to go further up each time so I can get that white part covered while still not losing how my template is supposed to look. And you can see it's already almost going to be, you can tell right now that it's going to be completely covered by the time we get to this step. And you can do this with any paper flower, paper rose template that you have. They usually have like a base like this, and then once you make that base, you can just go ahead and do your other pieces. Cut that shape like how I did, and you have yourself a rose on a stem. Got yourself a little rose head. And I'm especially showing this video because there's a lot of videos about rose heads and all the stem making too, but they're always in like foreign countries. It's usually in Russia, mostly sometimes, but they just do a really good job. But a lot of their stuff is based on their country. So this is stuff that's based on our country. Granted, this probably came from China, but it's something that is easily accessible in the U.S. that we can get. So I'm not gonna even, I could try to measure it. Actually, I am gonna measure it. I was gonna say I'm not gonna even measure it, but I better measure it because sometimes the little this can get shorter as you keep going along. So it is good to see how your flower is supposed to be. So it's supposed to be right here. So actually it is a shorter cut I have to make. And once again, we can start by making this sample. So I think it's supposed to be much shorter. So I'll go with something like this. And then I'll glue it on and see if I like it. And if it works, then I know to make the other ones just as short. Sorry about that. I have to make it go up a little more. And you want to keep making it shorter because you don't want to lose how your flower is supposed to look, but you also want to be able to go right up on that white part to cover it. So it is going to get shorter and shorter as we go until we don't even need to cut anything. Like when we get to this part, one of them, at least the last layers, are not going to need to be cut at all to cover that white. They will just cover it. So that does look good, and I'm going to do that to the rest of these. And I probably could make it like in more, like right here. Hope you can see it, if you can. And this doesn't have to be perfect because you're never going to see that part in the final product. So that's just a little glue here, so I'm just going to go back. Grab another glue stick. I never measured exactly like how many glue sticks I've used for something like this, but so far this is, I think this is my second one that I'm working with that I had to use, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna use at least 3 plus, you know, whatever was already in the chamber or barrel. This probably could have got cut a little shorter, a little more actually. I don't like how it sits, so I'm gonna go up a little more. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. I don't really like how that sits, and I do want to get really up there to cover that white, so just a little bit more. That. I'm trying not to block the camera, but at the same time get you the entire view of me making this flower. And I also don't want to be on camera right now. For my template, I like to see where exactly it's going to sit, and then I go and add this. I'm going to turn it around. We're going to add these last two. And look how much we're covering already. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing right here. Oops, that's a lot of glue. Around. And while you're doing this, if you get like indents at the tips, you just gotta smooth them out. Even when you get flowers, like when you order them online, if you get little indents like that, they're so easy to just smooth out. It's paper. It's very manipulative. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to turn it around, and now I'm going to start going in the corners with my template. I'm going to start this corner right here. And I'm going to do the same thing where I look and see where I want it. Actually, right there is good. Yeah, right there is good. So I think for this first row, I'm probably not gonna cut it at all, and then I'll see how it progresses. But for this first row, this first four, it's not gonna need any cutting. So let's go right here. So I'm going right here, and then I'm just gonna go here. Some there. It's a little awkward doing it like this because I'm used to it being like closer to my body, but if I get any closer, you're just gonna see the back of my head on the camera. So I'm kind of like pushing my hands all the way across. Okay, so apparently my video cut off on me and you guys didn't see the parts of this. But basically I started on this last section and I didn't have to cut it at all. I just started to further place it back like this, and there's no need to cut it. And this is where I'm at right now. I did the first four and now I'm on the second four. And I'm hoping to get this on video before it cuts off on me again. I don't have much storage on my phone, but I really wanted to get this video out to you guys. And I'm doing all of this on a phone. I can make excuses and say, oh, I'll wait until I get a really good like camera that's specifically for YouTube, or until I get like certain things, but I decided to make no excuses and do this video and show you the things that I have on here, like all of my templates and the paper flower stems. I wanted to show that because I know that there are people who search for that. I was one of those people that was searching for a U.S. person, a person in the United States that was doing this, and there was none, and it seemed like it was only foreigners that were doing it, or people in other countries that were doing it, and there was no one in our country showing us. People would just show their beautiful creations, but not how they make them. So I wanted to show you guys that, and for all the people who are, oops, I did this one wrong. And if you make a mistake, you can just rip it off like how I did. No one really sees the mistakes in the end. But yeah, so I wanted to make one for all my peeps in the US on how to do it. And I didn't want to be stingy or have to wait until I have everything in place. So if you're a person who's really wanting to learn, hopefully you'll bear with me with the poor video quality and the phone that cuts off in the middle of the video and you don't get to see exactly everything, but hope you'll bear with me. You guys see my numbers of subscribers, you guys see my number of views, and you guys see my number of sales on Etsy. Until those things, all those numbers get in the 10,000s, then this is what we have. And I hope those who are truly wanting to learn, hope you guys learned something. So like I said in the beginning, that this last petal, it can be anywhere from 8 sometimes that I need to use to like up to like 12. So far this is just 8 and I think it's done. Like, look at this. It looks rounded. I hope you guys can see. It looks done. And so there you have it, a paper flower head for those who are wanting to make one. Now, since I said it's done and I'm not going to add anything else, any other petals to it, one of the things I can do to cover this part, I can even use this and just cover it. But what will also cover it, a moment, would be this. I have these, I make these and I usually sell them with all of my flowers, my freestanding stem flowers. So once you put that on the back and glue it down in place, you don't see that white anymore. And you can even cover up your mistakes. So I'm just gonna do that right now. I'm gonna make this permanent. So I'm gonna put a little dab of glue there. And I'm gonna cover up over here. So I'm just gonna add some right underneath. And it pretty much stays. I don't even need to add anything over here. I can do is like curl it back like that. And then that's it. And I can add two more, which is what I usually do. I usually just put 3. And I can show you that right now. So here's 3 others 2 others. That. Like that. And there we have. You usually don't see them that much with the big flowers, but they're there when you're looking at it from the back. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please like, comment, subscribe, and get me to 10K. Oh, guys, thank you for watching. So I just wanted to end this video with giving you a better like close-up of everything. And this is it on a stem. I'm gonna show you the back. And I also want to point out that it ended up being about 21 inches. I'm doing this with one hand, so I don't think you're gonna get like the best measurements for me, but from like here to down there, that's about 21 inches. So, and that's just with 8 of this petal. And you could obviously add more petals to it to make it a little bit more fuller, but it looks full and wonderful as is. So once again, I thank you for watching the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe.